In a moment that has left the entire British entertainment world reeling and millions of viewers glued to their screens replaying the footage over and over again, the usually calm and collected Oscar-winning actor Colin Firth was dramatically kicked off Lorraine Kelly's long-running ITV daytime show following an intense and fiery heated clash that escalated within minutes, turning what was meant to be a pleasant promotional interview into one of the most shocking live television incidents in recent years. The confrontation began subtly enough, with Lorraine welcoming Colin to the studio set with her trademark warm Scottish charm, praising his legendary career from the heartthrob days in Pride and Prejudice to his Oscar-winning performance in The King's Speech and his more recent critically acclaimed roles in serious dramas like the Lockerbie bombing story. But as the conversation progressed, Lorraine started staring into more personal territory, asking pointed questions about Colin's private life, his past relationship, his thoughts on family dynamics in the public eye, and even probing comments he had made in previous interviews about the pressures of fame, which seemed to strike a nerve with the actor, who visibly tensed up in his chair, his facial expressions shifting from polite engagement to clear discomfort as he responded with increasingly short answers, trying to redirect back to his latest project. But Lorraine persisted, pressing him on whether his dedication to work had affected his personal happiness in ways that many felt crossed the line from journalistic curiosity into intrusive territory. The studio audience, which had been clapping enthusiastically at the start, now sat in stunned silence, sensing the rising tension in the air, while the camera operator zoomed in, capturing every micro-expression of frustration on Colin's face and the determined look in Lorraine's eyes as she refused to back down from her line of questioning. Sources close to the production later revealed that the team had been briefed to keep things light, but Lorraine, known for her no-nonsense style on air, decided to go deeper, believing it would make for a compelling television. Little did she know it would lead to Colin suddenly standing up mid-sentence, his voice rising with controlled anger as he declared that he had come to discuss his craft, not to be dissected like some tabloid subject. The moment the words left his mouth, the atmosphere in the studio changed completely, with producers signaling frantically from the sidelines, but it was too late. The clash had ignited fully, and what followed was a back-and-forth exchange that viewers described as electric and uncomfortable, all at once, leaving no one in doubt that this was not scripted drama but a genuine unfiltered collision of egos and boundaries on live morning television. The incident quickly became the talk of social media platforms, with hashtags trending within hours as clips were shared thousands of times, and experts weighed in on whether such moments expose the fragile nature of celebrity interviews or simply highlight the need for better preparation from both sides. Regardless of the opinions flying around, one thing remains crystal clear: this event has forever altered how we perceive these seemingly friendly chats between stars and hosts on daytime TV. To fully understand the magnitude of this explosive incident, it is essential to delve into the backgrounds of both Colin Firth and Lorraine Kelly, two iconic figures in British media who have built their reputations on professionalism, charm and connecting with audiences, yet whose paths collided in such a dramatic fashion that day. Colin Firth, the 50-something actor born in Hampshire, England, rose to global fame in the early 1990s with his portrayal of Mr. Darcy in the BBC adaptation of Pride and Prejudice, a role that cemented his status as a romantic lead and opened doors to Hollywood blockbusters and prestigious awards, including the Academy Award for Best Actor in 2010 for The King's Speech, where he delivered a masterful performance as King George VI, overcoming a stammer in a story that resonated deeply with audiences worldwide. Over the decades, Firth has balanced commercial successes like Bridget Jones' Diary and Love Actually with more serious fare such as A Single Man in Tea, Railway Man, showcasing his versatility and depth as a performer while maintaining a relatively private personal life despite 2 marriages and raising children away from the spotlight. He has occasionally spoken out on social issues, environmental causes and the challenges of aging in the industry, making him a respected voice beyond just entertainment. Lorraine Kelly, on the other hand, is a staple of British television, having hosted her eponymous morning show since 2009. After years of reporting and presenting on various programs, her style is friendly, approachable, and often maternal, drawing in millions of daily viewers, mostly women over 40, who tune in for celebrity gossip, lifestyle tips, and light interviews. Kelly herself is known for her down-to-earth Scottish roots, her long career in journalism, and her ability to make guests feel at ease, but also for occasionally pushing boundaries to elicit emotional or revealing responses from stars. In past episodes she has had Memorable moments with other celebrities where conversations turned heartfelt or tense, but nothing quite like this clash with Firth, who came prepared to promote his work on the Lockerbie drama yet found himself facing questions that touched on raw nerves from his personal history, including his divorce from his first wife and his current family dynamics. Analysts have noted that both individuals bring vastly different energies to the table. Firth, the introspective, thoughtful artist who values privacy, and Kelly, the seasoned broadcaster who thrives on authenticity and audience engagement. Their previous encounters on the show had been cordial, with Firth appearing multiple times over the years for promotions without incident, which made this particular appearance all the more surprising and newsworthy, as it highlighted how even long-standing professional relationships can unravel when sensitive topics arise unexpectedly. The anticipation for Firth's visit had been high following the success of his recent projects, with previews teasing a relaxed tea about acting techniques and behind-the-scenes stories. Instead, the public got a raw, unscripted display of human vulnerability and professional friction that has sparked widespread discussions about consent in interviews, the ethics of live television, and the fine line between engaging content and respectful boundaries in the celebrity world. As fans reflect on their careers, it becomes evident that this single moment encapsulates the evolving dynamics of fame in the digital age, where every word and gesture is scrutinized instantly. As the interview segment progressed beyond the initial pleasantries, the seeds of the heated clash were sown when Lorraine Kelly shifted the focus from Colin's professional achievements to more intimate aspects of his life, a move that many later criticized as calculated for ratings but defended by others as standard practice for daytime talk shows. She began by referencing a recent magazine article where Firth had touched upon the difficulties of balancing a high-profile career with family obligations, prompting her to ask directly how his dedication to roles requiring intense emotional preparation had impacted his relationships over the years. Colin initially responded politely, acknowledging the challenges but steering toward his passion for storytelling, yet Lorraine followed up with a more pointed query about his separation from his first wife and whether public scrutiny had played a role in personal struggles. At this point, observers noted a visible change in Firth's demeanor, his posture stiffening, his smile fading as he paused before replying that such matters were private and not the reason for his appearance on the show. Undeterred, Kelly pressed further, suggesting that sharing these insights could help viewers facing similar issues, and even alluded to comments Firth had made in the past about mental health in the acting community, which she framed as an opportunity for him to elaborate. The tension escalated when Colin countered by questioning the relevance of these topics to his current film promotion, accusing the show of veering into gossip territory rather than substantive discussion. Lorraine defended her approach by emphasizing the human side of celebrities, arguing that audiences connect more deeply when stars open up about real-life experiences, but Firth stood firm, asserting that he had boundaries and that crossing them disrespected his time and the audience's intelligence. The exchange grew more animated, with both parties raising their voices slightly, Colin gesturing emphatically while Lorraine maintained her composed yet insistent tone, interjecting with follow-up questions that kept the pressure on. The studio crew reportedly attempted to signal a commercial break, but the momentum was unstoppable as the clash reached its peak, with Colin expressing frustration over what he called invasive probing that echoed paparazzi tactics rather than professional journalism. Kelly responded by reminding him that the show had a history of meaningful conversations with guests and that his reaction seemed disproportionate, leading to a back-and-forth where accusations flew about preparation, communication, and mutual respect. Viewers at home and in the studio were captivated by the unfolding drama, with some cheering for Firth's stand while others supported Lorraine's persistence. The build-up had been gradual, but the intensity built rapidly, turning a standard celebrity slot into a memorable confrontation that highlighted differing expectations in media interactions. Experts analyzing the segment later pointed out how the lack of clear pre- or view agreements on topics contributed to the surprise element, making the clash feel authentic and unfiltered in ways that rarely occur on polished daytime programming. This phase of the interview served as the catalyst for everything that followed, demonstrating how a single misstep in conversational direction can transform an ordinary appearance into headline-making television history that continues to be debated across platforms. The heart of the dramatic confrontation erupted when Colin Firth directly challenged Lorraine Kelly's line of questioning, calling it inappropriate and unprofessional in a tone that surprised everyone present in the studio and watching at home. He stated firmly that he had agreed to discuss his craft and upcoming projects, not to air personal grievances or speculate on family matters which he believed should remain off-limits for public consumption. Lorraine, however, did not yield. Instead, she retorted that as a public figure, Firth had a responsibility to engage honestly with fans who supported his career through thick and thin, suggesting that his reluctance might stem from deeper unresolved issues. This remark appeared to be the tipping point as Colin leaned forward, his voice rising with evident irritation, accusing Kelly of twisting his words and turning the interview into a sensationalist ambush rather than a respectful conversation. The heated exchange intensified with rapid-fire responses, Colin emphasizing his GHT to privacy and professional courtesy, while Lorraine defended her role as a host who asks tough questions to deliver compelling content to her loyal audience. At one point, Firth stood partially from his seat, gesturing with his hands to underscore his points about the importance of boundaries in media interactions and how crossing them erodes trust between celebrities and broadcasters. Kelly remained seated, but her expression shifted from calm to defensive as she countered that many stars appreciate the platform for sharing vulnerabilities and that his outburst was disappointing given his reputation for eloquence and composure. The dialogue included specific references to past interviews where other actors had opened up successfully, contrasting with Firth's resistance, which he dismissed as irrelevant to his situation. The clash featured moments of overlapping speech, raised volumes, and pointed language that made it clear both parties felt strongly about their positions, with Colin declaring at one stage that he won't not tolerate being treated like entertainment fodder, and Lorraine insisting the conversation was beneficial for viewers. The back and forth lasted several intense minutes filled with emotional undertones, frustration on Firth's side and determination on Kelly's, creating a riveting spectacle that held the entire studio captive. Crew members later described the air as thick with electricity as neither side seemed willing to de-escalate. The argument touched on broader themes like the commodification of personal lives and show business, the power dynamics in interviews, and the expectations placed on male actors to maintain stoic images while revealing enough to stay relatable. Analysts have since broken down the language used, noting how Firth's measured yet passionate delivery contrasted with Kelly's persistent probing style, resulting in a clash that felt both personal and principled. The heated words exchanged painted a vivid picture of two strong personalities colliding head-on in real time, leaving audiences to ponder who was in the right and whether such raw moments enhance or damage the fabric of daytime television programming. This core exchange remains the most replayed portion of the incident, capturing the essence of what made it so unforgettable and widely discussed in entertainment circles worldwide. In the climax of this unforgettable television moment, Colin Firth abruptly rose to his full height after the final heated exchange, declaring that he had endured enough and would not continue under such conditions, prompting immediate action from the production team, who swiftly intervened to escort him off the set, while Lorraine Kelly sat momentarily stunned before attempting to regain composure by addressing the camera directly with a mix of apology and explanation about the unpredictable nature of live shows. The kicking off happened so quickly that viewers barely had time to process it as security personnel guided the actor toward the exit with professional efficiency yet visible tension in the air. The studio audience erupted into a mix of gasps, murmurs, and scattered applause, some supporting Firth's exit as a stand for dignity, while others expressed disappointment at the abrupt end to the segment. Producers cut to a commercial break almost instantly, but the damage to the flow of the program was evident, with subsequent segments feeling subdued and forced as Kelly returned visibly flustered, offering a brief statement about respecting all guests and hoping for better outcomes in future interviews. Behind-the-scenes reports indicate that the team worked frantically to manage the fallout, contacting Firth's representatives immediately while monitoring the surging online reactions that poured in within seconds of the incident. The host composed herself admirably, continuing the show with the remaining guests, but the shadow of the clash lingered heavily, affecting the overall energy and prompting internal discussions about interview protocols for high-profile stars. The immediate aftermath saw crew members debriefing in hushed tones, while social media exploded with divided opinions, some praising Colin for walking away from discomfort and others criticizing him for overreacting to standard questions. The moment Firth was officially offset marked the end of his appearance but the beginning of a media storm that dominated headlines. conversations and viral clips for days to come. Lorraine later addressed the event in a subtle way during closing remarks, emphasizing the importance of open dialogue in her program without directly naming the actor. This swift removal highlighted the show's contingency plans for handling disruptions and underscored the challenges of maintaining control in live broadcasts where emotions can run high without warning. The entire sequence from escalation to exit lasted less than 5 minutes, yet it generated hours of content analysis and debate across news outlets and fan forums, cementing its status as a pivotal moment in modern television history that will be referenced for years as an example of how quickly a promotional visit can transform into a career-defining confrontation. Following the dramatic exit, the repercussions of Colin Firth being kicked off Lorraine Kelly's show unfolded rapidly, with social media platforms lighting up with millions of views, comments and shares as users debated the rights and wrongs of the clash, sparking petitions, trending topics and even calls for boycotts or support from both sides. Celebrities and industry insiders weighed in, offering their perspectives on the pressures of public life and the evolving standards for media interactions, while Firth's team issued a concise statement expressing regret over the tone of the discussion and reaffirming commitment to professional engagements without assigning blame directly. Lorraine's producers released their own response, highlighting the value of authentic moments and committing to review guest preparation processes to prevent similar occurrences in the future. The incident impacted viewing figures positively in the short term due to curiosity, but raised questions about long-term brand reputation for the show. Some advertisers reportedly expressed concerns over the unpredictable nature of live content. Public reactions ranged from outrage at perceived disrespect toward the actor to admiration for Kelly's resilience in handling the situation on air, with countless memes, edited videos and opinion pieces flooding the internet in the days after. Analysts predicted potential effects on both careers, suggesting Firth might see increased interest in his principled stance while Kelly could face scrutiny over her interviewing techniques. Yet both have continued their professional paths, with Firth promoting projects successfully and Lorraine maintaining her daily broadcasts. The broader implications include heightened awareness around consent in celebrity interviews, calls for clearer guidelines from broadcasters, and the renewed conversation about balancing entertainment with empathy in a digital era where every moment is recorded and amplified instantly. Fans have created support groups online sharing stories of similar experiences and using the event as a teaching moment for media literacy. Overall, this clash has left an indelible mark on the landscape of daytime television, reminding everyone involved that behind the smiles and scripted segments lie real people with boundaries that deserve respect. As time passes, the story continues to evolve, with new angles emerging from insider accounts and retrospective interviews, solidifying its place as a landmark case study in the complexities of fame, hospitality and the fine art of conversation under the glaring lights of live TV.